Well, what do we do in between games? We take it back to the bullpen. I got Mike Stanton here, and he's going to tell us he's been in the heat of the battle in Yankee Stadium. We're going to talk about how the Yanks can flip the script on the World Series. It seems to be all Dodgers blue. Let's go.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat a low in the way you can't hit it. You know you want to start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk your back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen. Oh yeah.
Hey, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Back to the Bullpen. This is our second edition during the World Series. I'm H-Town Wellhouse. You know where to find me. Back to the Bullpen, you know where to find us. That's why you're here on YouTube, on Instagram. We are also on X right now live. Just thank y'all for tuning in. And, hey, the X account for Back to the Bullpen just went premium. We're waiting for that blue check approval. And so make sure you follow us there. But, Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, there's only one place, and that is on X. It's Mike Stanton 29. Listen, this has not been the World Series we were expecting. Two pretty close games, but like you said in the open right there, it has been all Dodger blue so far.
It has, and the way game one ended, It was a storybook ending. It was, Freddie Freeman. We talked about in the preview how he was really kind of playing on one leg, and he turned on a pitch, and it was only the second pitch. And we'll get to the Nestor Cortez thing and the Aaron Boone moves later on in the show. But the Dodgers did what you need to do in a World Series.
Yeah.
You go up 2-0 and you win the two games. Now, I will say this, the 1996 Yankees, okay? That was, I believe I think you were on two different teams. You were in Boston, and then you got traded to Boston.
Where'd I go from Boston? Come on.
From Boston, you went to
You talked yourself into this corner. Yes.
From Boston, you went to
Texas. I actually played against the Yankees.
Right.
In 1996, yes.
Right. And so in 1996, though, the Yankees were down 0-2, came back, and I believe they won, right?
They did win in 96. Personally, just so people don't have to go to Baseball Reference and figure it out, I have actually been on two teams that have been down 0-2. The 1991 World Series, Atlanta Braves against the Minnesota Twins. That was a series that no road team won a baseball game, and unfortunately for us, Minnesota had home field advantage. And then in 2001, which we were down to winning the game in the ninth inning with the best closer on the planet, and same type situation, a road team did not win a game in that series either. So both went 7 innings. Both came down to the wire, but unfortunately, I was on the losing end of both of those.
That's tough. I mean, that is, but you know what though, Mike, and I guess you can say this since you have won World Series, and maybe someone who has gone and maybe didn't get a chance to put that ring on their hand might have a different perspective. But I do think, and there is somewhat of a sweetness. Even if you get there, you hate to lose, but you can say, you know what, at least I had a chance. It's better to be loved. It's better to have loved and lost than not loved at all, right?
It's not like, in football, you had the Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills, lose multiple Super Bowls, I think in a row. Yeah. Baseball is different because you play so many games. The playoffs run for so long. I mean, just the series itself is 7 games. It's not just one game. So, yes, there's absolutely, real emotion in losing, but there's also real emotion in just being in the game. You're still a champion. You're not a World Series champion, but you're still a league champion. So, National League or American League. And, you get bridesmaids rings for those also. So I do have a few of those to go along with some World Series championship rings.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the first things we need to talk about, because we're going to get to Aaron Judge, we're going to get to Aaron Boone's moves. But right now, Shohei Ohtani, who is really, and the reason why I'm wearing this Angels hat, this is actually a Shohei.
I was actually I was wondering what you were doing there.
So right here, if I turn to the side, there's a Shohei Ohtani patch.
That's perfect.
So the Shohei Ohtani patch, and it happens to be Dodger blue. So there you go. You see,
but it does have the Angels halo, though.
It does. I'm trying just a Houston Astros fan.
Well, I tell you what, all the Astros fans that are watching this right now, if you actually wore a Dodgers hat, we may get our viewership may have just gone to zero.
I know. Hey, man, I'm just trying to be a man of the people right now, right? It's the season of politics. I'm just trying to politic.
Right? That's right. Shaking hands and kissing babies.
But seriously, Shohei Ohtani, really the biggest star in this World Series, hands down. That slide, when he slides initially, you're not like, oh my gosh, he slid. Like all of a sudden, he just starts grimacing and wincing, and like you could feel the anxiety in the stadium.
My gosh. Oh, it just all the air came out of it because everybody inhaled at one time. And I think, what happened originally, I didn't see the slide. I had to see it later. I was listening to it on the radio and I was thinking, why is he head first sliding into second? Well, it wasn't a head first slide. It was a feet first slide, but he slid on his left hip and his left arm was trailing behind him. And then he kind of turned into it to reach for the bag with his right hand. And it was just kind of awkward. You go, the first thing that came to mind is, Shohei, what in the bleep are you doing trying to steal? But you know what? He's done this over 50 times. I mean, he's the first 50-50 player. This was just one of those fluke things. And to tell you the truth, people need to understand how good of an athlete this guy is. He doesn't just throw hard. He doesn't just hit bombs. He's one of the fastest guys on the field. He's an absolute monster. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's got to be pulling about 245 pounds. I mean, this is a large human being. And that upper body strength that he has, if he made this slide, 5 or 6 years ago, he probably would have screwed up his shoulder. But because of the strength he has, because like I said, this is a large human being now, because of the strength, upper body strength he has in that left side, he was able to, it seems like right now, get through it. What the official term was, I was on MLB Network Radio last night. Of course, this was what we talked about after just the Dodger win. It was a slight, what was it? Subluxation. No, subluxation. Subluxation. There you go. Words are way too big for this time of night. Slight subluxation. And what that means is it's slightly dislocated and then it went right back in. They talked about how the mobility was good, the strength was good. And so far, the reports we've heard, now we're not going to know until they actually put out the lineup, but it looks like he very well play tomorrow.
So basically, Shohei Ohtani healed himself. I mean, what can this guy not do? It's
well, a hit right now. I mean, yes, he is the best player on the planet, hands down. He's going to be the unanimous National League MVP, but he hasn't done a whole lot offensively. Now, there's always, it's like him and Aaron Judge both. Neither one of them. Judge has been even worse. Judge has got some crazy swing and miss numbers. But he's still Aaron Judge. He's still going to be probably the unanimous American League MVP.
Right.
And but neither one of these guys are doing the heavy lifting, and you can understand that. Judge is definitely struggling. Judge is he's expanding the zone a lot. He's swinging it seemingly everything, and they're making pretty good pitches on Shohei also. So these are not the two guys, even though that's the top billing. That's the faces on the marquee. Right. Those two dudes have yet to really show up here in the World Series.
Right. And that was one of the things I know when the Astros really had their way with the Yankees. Aaron Judge never really seemed to, but he has 15 home runs in 55 games, but he's hitting, I think, like 166.
Yeah.
Well,
there's something crazier. They said a stat last night that just blew my mind. He's taken like 110-ish, maybe 112 swings at pitches in the playoffs, and he swung and missed almost 50% of those. I mean, that's a crazy number. But you can just see the swings that he's taking. He's off balance. He's missed a couple fastballs right down the middle. So he's what you call in between. He's not on the fastball, but he's also not on the breaking ball. And, going into this series, one of the things that we said that the Dodgers had a deeper lineup, but neither one of these teams really expanded the zone a whole lot. Well, we're seeing the Yankees definitely expand more than the Dodgers, no doubt. And Judge is one of the culprits at expanding the zone. But for him to for him to have that kind of swing and miss is pretty remarkable. But here's the other side of it: he's one swing. All he's got to do is make contact. Shohei's the same way. Just make contact. They could hit the ball a country mile. And that's why they're still in the lineup. That's why they're still as dangerous now. Heck, you know what? They may be more dangerous now because now you think you can pitch to them.
Right. Well, and Mike, that's what I talk about. Because I never played at the level that you played it, but I really believe in the law of averages. And I think sometimes the most dangerous hitter is the guy that's over. The most dangerous hitter is the guy that hasn't been hot. The Teoscar Hernandez, who was 0 for 16, and then he contributes in the NLCS. Because right now, get this, Jay Kuda on X said that of 70 players in baseball history with 200-plus postseason at-bats, only 2 are below 200. That's Aaron Judge and Reggie Sanders. And two different level players. I mean, Reggie Sanders,
Reggie was a good player.
He was a good player, but he never reached that level that Aaron Judge has reached. Now,
there hasn't been many that have.
Well,
but listen, this is this really surprising? And I don't want to take anything away from Aaron Judge because he is one of the best marquee players, best players in Major League Baseball. But we've seen this from him before. I mean, this isn't anything new that, when he's hot, he can be hot almost unlike no one else. When he's not, he can be not just like,
yeah, exactly.
Just like everyone else. So, it just shows that he is human.
One of the things that I've been chomping at the bit today to talk to you about, and I've been thinking about this is, you've played, you wore the pinstripes. Mm-hmm. You were there in the playoff moments. And there is something to be said about home field advantage. What is it like in Yankee Stadium when you're wearing the pinstripes and you're down 0-2? I guess all that stuff may kind of go away because those fans, they really know how to bring it in New York.
Yeah, Yankee Stadium is going to be rocking and rolling. Just like, Dodger Stadium was rocking and rolling.
100%.
So, it's different than any other place, well, maybe on the planet, to play in. And, I know that there's probably a few players, maybe Brian Cashman, being up in the owner's box, Boone on the bench, wishes they had old Yankee Stadium. Old Yankee Stadium had the ghosts. That was worth a shutout inning right there, just being in front of the 57,000 screaming Yankees fans. So it's going to be a hostile environment towards the Dodgers, to say the least. We'll have to see how they react. But, one of the things that players are always looking for, they're looking for either some way to continue a streak or some way to get a clean slate. And traveling back to New York is definitely one of the ways you have a clean slate. You have in a regular season, you do the same thing. You have a bad series. You know what? We're going on the road. I get a new hitting background. I get a fresh start. And is it real? No, it's not real. Right. You're just trying to trick your brain, and it works, though. This is going to be a different Yankee team playing in New York in front of their home fans.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Judge said in a recent article in The Athletic, he said, "I'm excited to get back to New York. I'm excited to get back to the fans. It's a 7-game series for a reason." And then Anthony Rizzo was asked about Aaron Judge's postseason woes. and just different things. He said, this is baseball. That's how it goes. He's our leader. He's our captain. The narrative is whatever it is, but he's a brick wall. He knows how to handle all the stuff. I'm proud of who he is as a person, as a leader. And at times right now, define him even more because he comes in every day and he still has the same as he always is. And so, and that's what you have to do. Last show you talked about how you were constantly ramped up and constantly amped up. And for you had to focus on dialing back, on like holding back the reins on the adrenaline. So you didn't throw out your elbow or do something or throw a glove too hard after, you make a bad pitch. But that's really what it comes down to in these playoffs. And that's where I think sometimes these lesser players, the Mark Lemke's, the Tommy Edmonds, guys like that, they come into these moments and there's they say there's pressure, but if nobody's expecting you to do anything, the only pressure that there is what you put on yourself. And if a guy can go out there as an individual, if you and I are on a team and, you're counting on me to go up to bat and I just need to get the ball in the outfield and I'm pressing and I'm overthinking it and I go down looking, well, I put that pressure on myself.
Sure.
No, that moment isn't that moment. It's what you make it. And I think that the Dodgers have a good mix of players to where I'm not going to be surprised, Mike, if the Dodgers clinch it in New York, but I'm also not going to be surprised if the Yankees come roaring back and win the next two games.
Yeah, I think it goes back to LA. I really do.
Okay.
I think that the Yankees are a different team at home. Fortunately for either one of these teams, they're not playing the Astros. And so they don't have to worry about anything that's happened in the past. But listen, this is my approach. Let's do a little bit of psychology here. Pressure is always self-imposed. A situation does not put pressure on you unless you elect to feel that pressure. Even playing in the World Series, to tell you the truth, playing in the World Series is fun. Why is it fun? Because there's only two teams playing. I said this before, the hardest part of the season is the regular season. That's the grind. You get into the postseason. Now the aches and pains don't matter. The fact that I've thrown, 4 of the last 5 games doesn't matter because you've got adrenaline going on your side. Whereas, you're playing in July, it's 105 degrees. You're playing a day game after a night game. You just got your rear ends handed to you last night. I gave up 3 runs and I got to pitch again. Yeah, that's the hard part. The postseason, that's when it's fun, man.
That's awesome. And the fans love to hear that because everything's bigger and better. Now, I was going to mention this. You had talked about old Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you ever heard the story of there was a construction worker when they were constructing the new Yankee Stadium, and he was apparently, I think he was a Boston native. I don't know if the company was out of Boston, but he took a David Ortiz jersey and he buried it under the concrete.
I've heard this.
And I think he got fired. They actually excavated it. He was trying to put a curse on the new Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually got it out or if it. Okay. I don't even know if this really happened. It's a great story. This is how.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had heard that because I had heard that.
This is how things. Through hearsay, this is how things grow. They haven't won a World Series in a long time, but they did win the first year. The year the new Yankees 2009 when Yankee Stadium opened. That's the last time they won a World Series.
That's true. So that wouldn't hold true, but in baseball we love superstitions, but you know what I'm not superstitious about?
It is Halloween,
It is Halloween. That's right. Halloween's coming up and it is spooky season, but what is not scary is getting a back to the bullpen shirt from
scary if you don't have one.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to wear your back to the bullpen shirt while you hand out candy on the driveway, right?
It's orange.
Yeah, that's right. Orange. It's great. And you can I might be wearing my Yainer Diaz game issued mask on the driveway to Baby.
Game issued mask. There you go.
Well, I could.
You do have a face for catcher.
I think you're going to have a face for radio.
That too. I have that.
But seriously, make sure you go to Rams.
Man, that guy's good looking behind that mask.
He is, man. Stud. But Mark, like,
how about your hair? Where do you get your hair cut?
Oh, you know what? I go to I almost said back to the bullpen barbershop. I go to state of the art.
We could change the name.
We can. State of the art barbershop, 1616 South Friendswood Drive. Tell Ever Cruise that we sent you get 10% off your haircut. If you're in Friendswood, hey, if you're driving down to Galveston, you're like, hey, I forgot to get a haircut before I go hang out at the beach house, then stop by.
Hey, get to Friendswood, take a right. It's right over there.
That's right. Take a right on 518 and 528. Next to it, you got like a marble slab. You can mail a stamp to the Postal Plus place. My friends over there. I mean, whatever you want to do. But seriously, I was looking at the ramshirts.com website, and literally, if you have business needs, go check them out. They do promotional items. They do t-shirts. They do hats. And if you can think it up, I'm sure Mark can do his magic. And Mark is a creative guy. He does video and stuff for he has shirts for local celebrities. He does video stuff for Julia and some of those guys, Jeff Blum. So he's kind of all over the place, but I'm sure if you have a need, Mark can help you with those promos. But going into game 3, one of the big questions is not this. Like, we know the baseball is going to fly out of the yard, but Aaron Boone's move to pull Garrett Cole when he is absolutely shoving on the mound, and the most important game of the year, Garrett Cole gets pulled. And I had to think that Garrett Cole was very upset. And we've seen things happen to Garrett Cole when he was here in 2019, and they had him warm up in Houston and they didn't put him in. And I think Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez hit the nail on the head after the game. He said, why did Garrett Cole sign with the Yankees? To pitch at least 7 innings in the World Series. Like, Garrett Cole signed with the Yankees to win a World Series. And,
right.
Mike, but you can't, that's all water under the bridge. But Aaron Boone, though, does he have to manage differently? Does he have to manage better? Or is it just pure execution from this point out?
Well, listen, there's no margin for error here.
True.
Is game 3 a must-win game? Well, yes and no. I mean, it's only happened once a team come back from 3-0, and that was against the Yankees, and it was the Red Sox, and everybody knows that story. But other than that, it's never happened again. So right. you have to look at this as they need to win game 3. What do they need to do? They need to get to Walker Buehler early. They need to score early. They need to get the crowd involved. And like I said, I think that's worth a few outs, just having Yankee Stadium involved and loud and boisterous the way they are. And on the other side, the Dodgers need to do the same. They need to score early to take the crowd out of it.
Right.
But the Yankees offense has struggled mightily. I mean, in the first 2 games, they have gone 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and they've left 11 on. Now, they've both been very tight games. Even game 1, you look at it. Oh, the Dodgers doubled up the Yankees. Yeah, it was on one swing. It was on the walk-off grand slam. Heck, they were losing prior to that pitch. And to go back to Garrett Cole, Garrett Cole has not been great this season. He has not been great this postseason. Now, he was shoving in that start.
Right.
I think he threw 86 pitches or something like that. Which, he may have another inning. He's your ace. He's still the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner, because no one's gotten it here in 24 yet. But it's been a struggle of a season, especially, here in the playoffs. So I kind of understand. Yes, I'm always lean on your horses.
Right.
But I was kind of okay with them taking out. Now, the other side of this, having Nestor Cortez come in that situation, one of the things you're looking at as a manager is you're really trying to put your players in a situation to succeed, to set them up to succeed.
Right.
And, Cortez hadn't pitched in over a month.
Yeah. 39 days.
And you look at, Aaron Judge said, not Aaron Judge, Aaron Boone said all the right things, saying, he's thrown the ball so well in the bullpens and in the simulated game. That's not game situation.
No, it's not.
That's not the World Series. That's not coming in with the bases loaded in the game on the line. Now, here's the thing. He made 2 pitches, and they were almost the identical pitch. The first pitch, I can't remember who was hitting in front of Freddie Freeman, but he got him to pop up.
Right.
And then the second one was to Freddie Freeman. And it was, if you go back, everyone says, oh, it was a mistake. Go back and look where Austin Wells set up. He set up on the inside corner, and Nestor Cortez hit the glove. So that was where he wanted the ball. That was the scouting report on Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman knows what the scouting report is. Freddie Freeman is also, what did I say before this ever started when we did the preview? That time off helped the Dodgers way more than it helped the Yankees. And one of the main reasons was Freddie Freeman's ankle. Okay. He had not pulled a ball. He had not driven. It was just singles and kind of just soft contact. Well, he had like 4 or 5 days off, man. That ankle was fine when he was running around the bases. There was no limp. He didn't do the Gibson limp.
Right.
So it was, he hit his spot, and Freddie Freeman beat him to the spot, and game over. And now he is in World Series history as a walk-off grand slam. And by the way, the next day, Carlos Rodon does the same thing, except it wasn't 93, it was 97. And Freddie Freeman did the same thing. Spun on it, got the hands inside it, drives the ball out of the ballpark, almost the same part of the ballpark, or the same spot in the ballpark. They're going to have to change their approach to Freddie Freeman. Okay, you may want to go in there again, but you're going to have to show him something else. You can't just go in there thinking you're going to knock the bat out of his hand.
Exactly. So you had Gavin Lux on, you had Tommy Edmonds single, so you had 2 on. Shohei Ohtani flied out to left center with 1 out. Then they intentionally walked Mookie Betts.
That's what it was.
Mookie Betts. So bases loaded, and then Freddie Freeman. And that pitch he threw, it was just like it was a no doubter. I watched every.
He absolutely demolished. Hey, listen, Freddie Freeman is about as conservative as you can get as far as celebrations. He usually hits the ball, put his head down, and run.
Right.
But he hits this one, and hey, listen, I have no problem whatsoever. Dude just hit a walk-off grand slam in the World Series, and he hits it, and he immediately sticks his bat in the air. He knew, everybody knew where that ball was going, and it was a long way to right field.
Did you?
I had no problem with the celebration. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't more.
Yeah. Did you see that after the game, after he scored and got out of the whole huddle there at home plate, he went straight behind home plate, went to his dad.
Yep.
And then afterwards, he talked about how his dad has thrown him batting practice even in the off season, his whole life. And he was like,
but did you hear what he said to his dad?
Yeah. He said, this
nothing.
Is your
No, he didn't say anything. And he said, all I did was scream in his face.
Oh,
he couldn't even come up with words.
That's funny. Yeah. But that's, and that's why I think baseball for baseball enthusiasts, or if you talk to someone who says, yeah, I don't like baseball, like they don't get these moments.
Right.
And it was an extra innings. And Mike, I'm really glad that they don't do the runner on second base in the playoffs. Because
I wish they didn't do it at all.
Well, I don't even now. I guess I understand what they're trying to do in micromanaging the length of the games. Well,
you're messing with the game.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying I understand why.
I was just about to be through with you.
You're like, yep. You're like, and it's Mike's show now. Brett is gone.
He's done.
But in other words, I understand Like they're like, this is their reasoning. It's a long season.
I understand the idea, except it's like the number of pickoffs. You're messing with the strategy of the game now. You're messing with the actual game. You want to take, kill the time in between pitches, all that. Okay, fine.
Think about all the games you were in, the playoff games, and you go in an extra inning, and you've got this joker on second base who didn't earn his spot there. He was placed there.
Yeah, and just because he was the last out of the last inning.
And I think Michael Kay calls him the Manfred Man.
Right. I know somebody else, somebody I work with calls it, we used to call it the ghost runner.
Right.
Well, there's no ghost. It's a zombie runner.
There you go. Dead man walking.
He died last inning, so he gets to be put out there. He's a zombie.
So you said earlier, because I have the last question here, can New York flip the script? If you look at their run output at home versus their away output, some people in Houston might be a little suspicious because I think they average over 6 runs a game at home and they average less than a run on the road. But it is the playoffs. It is home field advantage. Is that what pushes them over the edge to extend this?
I think they can absolutely do it. I mean, they're a team that's gotten to the World Series. You don't get to the World Series by sheer luck.
True.
I mean, these are the two most iconic franchises in Major League Baseball, maybe in the world, in any sport. I mean, you can go to soccer and go to some of the some of the clubs around, but I mean, when you talk about major sports in the United States, this is it. I mean, Dodgers, Yankees, you can't get it. I mean, this is the 12th time they've met in the World Series. Can they do it? Of course they can. Now, like I said, they need to take the pressure off. They being the Yankees, they need to take the pressure off of themselves by scoring early against Walker Buehler. They need a lead. There hasn't been, they were leading in game 1, but it was precarious to say the least. And then they lose it on the walk-off grand slam. So they need to get a lead. They got Clark Schmidt going for them. Clark Schmidt has been very good and very underrated. Walker Buehler, his last time out, he was really good, but it's been a horrible year for Walker, mostly because of injuries. But even when he has pitched, he hasn't pitched well. That's why the Yankees need to put some, Juan Soto needs to do his thing, first batter of the game.
True.
Just go ahead, catch one out front, put it in the seats in right field, and then you can go from there. And now, if they do that, now we have a series again. But right now, obviously, the Dodgers are in the driver's seat, and the Dodgers need to take the wind out of Yankee Stadium because that place is going to be crazy, to say the least.
They are. LA did a phenomenal job with Ice Cube coming out before the game. The eve after Fernando, Valenzuela had passed away. He came out and someone's like, so does that mean the Yankees are bringing out the Wu-Tang Clan? Like, who are they bringing out? Like, what pregame, but I wanted to mention this before we go, Mike, because I've always had an issue with Major League Baseball's ability to market the game to the broader audience. And how do you do that? You find things that are culturally relevant. When Ice Cube came out, he brought everybody from the 90s on together. They brought, like, if you weren't a baseball, like, I see people sharing that clip of him singing before, of him, he's out there singing all his top chart hits, and people that don't even watch baseball are watching it. The baseball needs to do a better job marketing because I just think they've got such an advantage with the players they have in the league that they need to do something.
Having Ice Cube there, that's not Major League Baseball. That was the Dodgers.
Well, that's true. That's true.
The Dodgers.
But doesn't Major League Baseball have to allow that though?
They probably have to approve it, but I think it all gets approved to make sure there's no, wardrobe malfunctions or anything like that. But, I don't think that's really up to the organization.
Okay. So that's more organization
the home team. the home team. You know, what I think the Yankees need to do is they need to go back to the good luck charm that you used in the past in the late 90s and early 2000s. And that was a bald eagle named Challenger. Now, I don't know if Challenger is still with us, but we used to have Challenger fly during the national anthem. Would go from the outfield, it would fly down and land on the caretaker on the mound, and it still gives me goosebumps.
Wow,
to think about that. And it ended up being, it happened once, and I can't remember which series it was. And we played really well. And one thing about George Steinbrenner, he was superstitious. So once we won one series, Challenger's coming back for all of them.
You're like, but George, it's only the first series of the season. We're bringing Challenger.
Right. Ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now, did you ever get a chance to meet George Steinbrenner?
Oh, yeah. Many times.
Wow.
Not awesome. Even meet. I mean, having conversation. Actually, when I signed with him, when I signed with the Yankees in 1997, I came in for a press conference. I had never been, a player that needed press conferences when I signed contracts, but for that one I did. And before the press conference, actually went up into his office and we talked. And what we talked about more than anything else, you see these trophies here? Mm-hmm. We talked about horses because he was actually into race horses. I was into show horses, but we didn't talk about baseball. We talked about horses.
That's awesome. No, that is cool, because my only look into what George Steinbrenner meeting would be is what I've seen on Seinfeld and George Costanza and the fake Steinbrenner. Well, hey, Mike, thanks so much. We definitely need to come back here soon in a couple of days to discuss what's going on, because I'm sure it's going to be a madhouse. But for everyone here at Back to the Bullpen, from the Ramshirt Studios, and from everybody at Stay There Barbershop, thank y'all for tuning in. And look, even if you're wearing this shirt, I hope both teams lose. You can still watch and enjoy.
That's right.
But, he's Mike Stanton. I'm H-Town Wellhouse, and you have been brought once again, back to the bullpen. Y'all have a good one.
Adios.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat a low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive